What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And here's another edition of the KC Crew.
Welcome. Hello, beautiful people.
Yes, and before we start, let me shout out to our sponsor, the Custom Candle Co. She makes these amazing candles. They're made from some of your favorite liquors, and what she does is she recycles the bottle and makes it into one of the best smelling candles out there. So
our room smells amazing right
all
now.
the time, right?
Yeah.
So if you want a perfect gift for maybe your mom or your dad or your husband or girlfriend, it's definitely a dope gift. Something outside the box, not too expensive. And again, is the Custom Candle Co. So Custom Candle Co. on Instagram, and definitely check them out. And shout to you, Marcy. All right. Now, a lot of people ask, how can they sponsor? And all you have to do is just hit the email, thekcrew@gmail.com, TheeKCrew@gmail.com. You can go there if you want to sponsor. You can go there for the email of the week or for our dope mugs and glasses. We have them, wine glasses or coffee mugs. Definitely get your stuff.
For any of the above, you can also hit Benz at Bootcamp Benz.
Yes, that's Bootcamp Benz. All right. Now let's get the podcast cracking.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about relationships, right? Relationships, whether dating, whether boyfriend, girlfriend, or married, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about sex.
Okay.
Now, when I say talk about sex, do you feel that sex is one of the things where you don't have, I don't want to say it in a rapey way, but
A rapey way.
yes, like meaning because you're in a relationship, you have to have sex.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm saying is, it's Friday night. I'm horny. You're tired.
Okay.
Do you have to have sex?
No.
But why not? Because
I'm tired.
But sex is something that I want in a relationship. Is something that should be one of those things where if you want it, I give you. And if I want, you give me. Regardless if I want it or not. Because it's one of those things. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree.
Why is that? So if you don't want to have sex for 3 weeks, it's just cool. You just can't have sex. Now I'm not going to have sex.
Well, it's not very likely that you're going to be tired for 6 weeks or you're going to be sick for 6 weeks. It's not, typically if a person doesn't want to engage in a sexual activity, there's a reason that is usually isolated to that night or maybe a few nights before or a few nights after. But if you're with someone that's just not into it or that's just not into you, and they don't want to have sex, and that's a different problem. But if there's something preventing them from being able to do it or that's preventing their desire, then that should be okay. And you should be understanding and supportive.
Right. No, the reason I'm asking is because you hear all the times where a girl will leave an email or a dude will leave an email and like, my husband wanted to have sex, so I just rolled over and gave it to him. Right?
Well, yes.
But although she said it like that, I just rolled over and gave it to him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she should. And I think that, if the tables were turned, that he should.
Do you want roll over and gave it to him sex, though? Do you want to be the recipient of that?
Yeah, but sometimes, a dude just want a nut. And sometimes a woman just wants a nut. So okay. I think if you're in a relationship, that should be part of your duties.
Duty?
Yes,
job?
Duty.
That's...
I didn't say job. I said duty.
What's the difference? Duty's even worse.
No, I don't think so.
Duty's deeper. Your job is just something that is expected of you. Your duty is like a lot deeper and stronger than your job. See, so how can you say yay for the duty and nay for the job? Come on.
All right. See,
that's not reasonable.
Job is like, I have to work and I have to do it. Duty is like, there's certain things as a man is my duty. Like, my duty is to take out the trash. That is my duty. You're never going to do that.
And you think that forking over the hoo-ha falls under the category of duty.
All right. For instance, we go back, we finish the podcast. We go back to the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm horny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be like,
mm-hmm.
And it's your duty to make sure that I'm okay.
You don't really believe that.
I kind of do.
You think that it's my duty to believe,
and I feel the same way. If I get back to bed and I had a heart and I'm tired and you're horny, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could be like, babe.
Okay, let's be realistic.
But that's the truth. But I think that in relationships, that's how it should be when it comes to sex.
Pre-corona and post-corona, you get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Correct.
Okay. Right now, it's very late.
Correct.
And we are filming this podcast. It might be 2:00 in the morning. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If we get home from something and it's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and you have to be up the next day at 4:30 and I want it. You might feel in your heart of hearts that you're too tired to put in all of that work.
I don't have to put in all that work. I can give you just a little bit.
What's a little bit going to do for me?
But
I don't think any girl has ever said, I just want a little bit. I think every girl wants a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's be straight.
But you're not gonna get a lot all the time. Sometimes you're gonna get a quickie and then keep it moving. You're not gonna get an all night long.
So you're saying
listen
that
to Whip Appeal Baby Face. You're not gonna get that every night.
In that case, you're gonna give me all right, I'll just roll over and give it to her?
Yes.
And you think I'm gonna be happy with that?
Well, I mean, you're gonna nut. You'll be happy. No, the reason I think that is because you think about it, right?
Oh my goodness.
If and I'm just thinking about it from a conversation that we had the other day, right?
That we had.
Yeah, we were talking about somebody else, right?
No, I don't remember.
We were talking, I'll tell you after, but we were talking about somebody else. And they were complaining that they were trying to have sex with their girl, but their girl didn't want to have sex, right? Maybe they were tired or didn't want to. And they wanted to have sex. And I was feeling inside that if she didn't have sex with him, what is he going to do? Jerk his hand off all day long?
Well, he's not going to jerk his hand off because that's not going to do anything for him.
Well, not jerk his hand off, but you know what I mean. You know what? You're good. But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do you feel like in a relationship that is something that, regardless of how you're feeling, that you should do? Just
No,
like some
I
women,
don't.
Just like some women don't want to give head, right? They feel like it's disgusting, it's nasty. But if a man likes it, I feel like a woman should do it anyway. Same
That's
thing.
a good
Same thing.
question.
Like guys. Guys feel like, especially Jamaican guys. Oh, me no eat the poom poom. Me no eat the poom poom.
They
Blood clot.
definitely don't sound like that though.
You know what I mean. But if your woman likes it,
that's
I feel like that's what you should do. It's the same thing with sexual
That's a different question because you're committing to not doing that. Like if it's something that you're not into or something that grosses you out or something that, you can't handle.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of women out there that say, I don't like it.
I have a friend.
And I'm sure there's men that say, I don't do that.
I have a friend who has small lips and she thinks that she has, I don't know, like a shallow throat or like a tight throat that in her opinion, she's not capable of it. When she does it, it feels weird. She doesn't feel as though she's pleasing her man. So I don't know. I guess that's a physical thing where in her opinion, she can't do it, but that's a good question. Well, let me ask you, I'll pose it to you. Well, I guess I think I already know your answer.
What's that?
So if it's a guy, like you said, a lot of Jamaican men, you kind of grow up with,
we don't eat the poom poom.
With your uncle and your dad and maybe your grandfather telling you like, that's not something that men do.
Correct.
Right? I know there are a lot of Jamaicans out there that do it though. But let's say that that's the case and they get married.
Right.
Do you think that it's their duty to just switch up and start doing it if that's what their woman likes?
Yes. I think in a relationship it's to please. Unless it's something that makes you sick. Like if you eat poom poom and you throw up, that's something different.
Okay, so that's not going to happen.
Right. But if your woman likes it and likes the way that it feels, I think if you don't do it, what's going to wind up happening is she's going to get somebody else to do it later on.
So now with a girl doing it, there's more involved. Kind of,
No,
right?
it's the same shit. What do you mean?
It's more involved.
No, it's not. No.
It's more involved.
No, it's not more involved.
It's more involved.
How is it more involved?
There is more involved.
There's more involved.
No, there's more involved. So I don't know. I do know a few girls that don't do it, that it grosses them out. They think it is the most disgusting thing ever.
Whack.
And they're just not into it. So you think that, well, you know what? I pretty much think that you know what you're getting before you marry somebody.
Right.
So if you're cool with it and you marry them anyway, then you should be cool with it for a lifetime.
But if somebody...
You're probably dating for quite a while before you decided to marry them. So you know what they're about.
But if somebody likes that and they like that and they think maybe they can change that person, I think what winds
You know that before you propose.
But still, people do things that they don't necessarily want to do with their spouse or do things that might not be comfortable at first because they feel that their spouse might like it and they try different things.
Okay.
So maybe you say, okay, if I get married, she will do this. And then when she does it, it's something that you might miss because you might enjoy it. I feel if you're married and that's your spouse, and as long as it's not nothing like painful. Like,
Well, that was where my mind was going
Right.
as well. As long as it's not something painful
right, like
or
if you,
dangerous.
like if you're a
or,
dude and you like to go anal, and your woman is like, no, I don't like it. It hurts my ass. No, nothing's going in there. That's a little different.
Mhm.
But if it's a matter of giving head,
Okay.
I feel like it shouldn't be a thing or situation.
Personally, and this isn't.
I know how you feel personally.
You know, can we be serious?
I'm serious. I'm
Like,
just saying. I just.
Can we be serious?
I'm serious.
Personally, I feel as though I feel as though a man or a woman should bite the bullet and do it.
Well,
Like-
not bite the bullet, literally.
You
But,
don't want to bite the bullet.
but I know what you mean, right?
You want to
Right.
the bullet. Yeah, I think that you should pretty much bite the bullet, suck it up, and
There you go. Suck it up. There you go.
I don't know what is wrong with
There
me.
you go.
I should have seen that.
There you go. Preach. Preach. Okay, suck it up.
I think they should go for it.
Okay. go for it.
Okay, I think that they should go for it. And I don't know, because for me personally, my partner's satisfaction is paramount.
Mhm.
Like that is everything to me. So if it's something that I don't like, again, like you said, as long as it's not painful, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to try to find the fun in it. I'm going to try to look on the bright side. I'm going to try to find all the positives and I don't know, maybe even psych myself out of what it is that I don't like about it. But I would prioritize the satisfaction of my partner.
Now let me ask you a question. If I did not go down on you or did not.
No, it'd be over. It'd be a wrap.
Okay.
Dunzo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going my whole life without that. Like,
I mean, I feel the same, but there's a lot
I
of
mean,
there's
no.
there's a lot of people out there.
But I would know that before I plan to spend the rest of my life with you. And I would have the opportunity to see my out if you didn't do that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
So the only reason I wanted to bring that up is because I know there's a lot of women out there, and I know a lot of you guys on quarantine, and they might be feeling like, yo, my wife or my girl doesn't do that, or my man doesn't do that. And it's like, you got to grow up a little bit, like live a little, like eat the pum pum.
But, you know, I do know a lot of people or have known a lot of people that are tired or as they've been in a relationship with their partner, they start to get bored. And we've talked about this before.
Mhm.
Sex can get monotonous if you don't keep it fresh and new and interesting. So, you know, for a lot of people, having sex once a month is like normal.
Right.
You know, what do you think about that?
I honestly feel
And
like
what if one is okay with it and one is not?
I mean, I think that's in every relationship.
What do you mean?
I think in every relationship, there's always one person that is more into sex. In a lot of, I wouldn't say in every relationship, but in a lot of relationships, I think there's one person that's a sexaholic that loves sex, and there's always one person that enjoys it, but just not on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So you're saying it's difficult to match levels.
I think in most cases there is, but yeah, I mean, for a lot of couples, it's sex is, I wouldn't say a priority, because it's like, if you think about a normal family, let's say they have 2 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you work 9 to 5 every day, right?
Mhm.
So you're waking up at 6 o'clock to get out of the house enough time to get your kids ready to get to work, right?
Okay.
Then you work all day to 5 o'clock. Then you driving home through rush hour traffic, 6, 7 o'clock. Then you cook dinner, if you cook dinner. Then by the time you cook dinner, you help the kids with their homework. It's now 9 o'clock,
Mhm.
10 o'clock. Now you're tired. So
Kids don't get baths?
well, maybe kids get baths in the morning,
Okay.
but bath or whatever. But now you're tired.
Mhm.
Now there is no me time. So throughout the whole day, you didn't even have 30 minutes to even watch your favorite TV show or watch your favorite program, sit back and relax.
Mhm.
So now you're looking at your partner, and your partner might say, hey, I want a little ass, or I want some
They probably
dick,
want a big ass though.
whatever.
Go ahead.
but or I want some dick. And it's like, you don't want to give it to him because you're tired. It's not that you don't want to give it to him because you don't want to, it's because that person is tired. And that's every day of the week, Monday through Friday.
Mhm.
Now, Saturday is your day to relax, and you're like, fuck, I don't want to do it necessarily. So I can see how that gets into a routine.
You sound like the anti to the person that you were assuming in the beginning of this conversation.
And the only reason I say that was,
How are you justifying it? Meanwhile, you were calling them.
I'm not justifying. I'm saying that's how a lot of people live their relationships. And we were watching some flick on TV and I was laughing, but they set times. You remember? I don't know what it was.
Yeah, we were watching.
It was like Wednesday and Saturday is the only days they could have sex.
What was that?
And he was like, he wanted to have sex on Tuesday. He was like, nah.
Oh, it was, I know what it was. It was that show on Hulu with Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington.
Right.
Called Little Fires Everywhere.
Yeah, Little Fires Everywhere.
And Reese Witherspoon's character is a very like regimented person, and she only has sex with her husband twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Right. And he wanted some on Tuesday. She was like, nah, tomorrow. But that was probably the reason why, because she had 3-4 kids and she had to get everything to work. So I understand why people would feel like what
But you think as tired as she is, she should just roll over and do it anyway?
I think
Meanwhile, she got up, she got the kids ready, she got the kids to school, she worked a full day, she came home and she cooked. She got the kids, did the homework with them, got them bathed.
I think so.
Got them in bed. And then at night, she's supposed to be cowgirl?
She ain't got to be cowgirl, but she could bend over. I mean, that's how I feel, because if not, I think that's how I start to wander on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're a woman and your man is not giving you what you need, I think that's how you start to wander. You start first to be a finger, then to be a dildo, then it'll be Pornhub, then it'll be the pool guy, then it'll be a lawyer, and now you got a divorce. I feel that if your woman wants it and you don't give it to her, those are the things that you could possibly face. And same thing with a dude. It could be first, it could be, okay, the hand. Then it could be Pornhub. Then it could be OnlyFans. Then it could be live chatting. And then it could be the nanny. Like, I think that's what happens. And that's what happens in relationships. And I don't think people necessarily want that to happen, but it's just a matter of connecting and honestly figuring out a time where you're both compatible. Now, the thing with the times is Wednesday and Saturday.
That's whack.
That is whack. But they
figuring out a time.
Yeah, I mean that is whack. But they get their sex in. I think that's why.
That's whack.
I think any scheduled time is whack.
That is whack.
I think so. I agree with you.
I mean, if we happen to be free on Wednesday and Saturday, and that's the time where we happen to get into each other because it happens to be the time where neither of us are tired, and then we happen to gravitate towards each other and bing, bang, boom, then that's fine. That's just circumstantial. But to plan it is nothing less romantic than planning
you're
sex.
Right. Like sex. Like I'm a morning sex person, right?
Yes.
You are a night sex person. Well, you're
Yes.
24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year sex person. You don't give a fuck what time, when, afternoon, where. But I'm a morning person because at night, once I get in that bed, 9 times out of 10, lights out. Like the kids could have a party on my back while I'm sleeping and I won't even know.
Right. Right.
So
I was on the phone with my friend, with actually our designer, Paulo. And I had you on speaker. We were on the phone for like an hour and a half. We had so many things to cover. And he hears, he was like, what's that? I was like, oh, Rashawn's just snoring next to me. He was like, he's been there this whole time? I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, we're not waking him up? I'm like, hun, he could sleep through an earthquake. Like there is nothing that's going to wake him up. Like,
which is the craziest part because my alarm clock wakes me up. But the kids could have a fucking party on my back. Gig could be watching television loud as shit.
Yeah, you're kind of like desensitized to it.
It could be all types of shit going on, and I'm knocked the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Knocked the fuck out.
Right.
But what I was saying, I don't know where I got that. Why are we talking about that? I don't know why the fuck we was talking about that.
You said that you're a morning sex person.
But that's why I like morning sex.
You like to sleep at night. You're a morning sex
I have
person.
Energy. I'm up. I'm good. The only thing with morning sex at our house
is morning breath. Sorry, did I just project? My bad.
Well, besides the morning breath, as for me, it's the kids.
Yeah, it's
them
terrible.
Motherfuckers will file in
like
a minute.
Sex is bad in the morning. Like at 6:30, they come busting through the door in increments. You know, like every 12 minutes. So we can't get into it. I'm always conscious of the door, which is taking my mind off of what's going on. We just really should have gotten a lock a long time ago. And now we're moving. So We're not going to get it locked now, but I'm not into what's going on because I'm worried about that. I'm worried about the covers slipping. I'm, worried that as soon as I get there, someone's going to bust through the door and it's going to ruin everything.
Right.
So there's so much light. I don't feel like fresh in the morning, it's okay. It's good, but I prefer it at night when it's dark and it's sexy and kids are asleep and we can do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
But you're always tired.
Right. So,
so I get lazy blank.
And I like the morning too. The morning,
night.
The juices in your vagina.
Stop it. That's not true. Stop. Can you stop?
When you get that fresh
Sean, can you stop?
lick, it's just like pow.
Stop
it's like, for instance, when you cook jerk chicken, right? You marinate the jerk chicken at night and then you cook it the next day so the juices are in it, right? It's the same thing with the vagina.
This is not, shut up.
All right.
Move along.
All right, well, let's get to the email of the week.
Yes.
Hey, Gia and Envy. So I recently found out when my guy goes out, all his not single and married friends go out and they invite other females, hoes and bitches as they called in a group chat.
Did you add that hoes and bitches?
No, it says hoes and bitches.
Sounds like an Envy ad-lib.
I swear. Did you just call me Envy?
For the first time ever, right? I've probably never called you Envy in our lives, right?
They said hoes and bitches as they called them in the group chat. And yes, I see them in my guy's phone. We have a phone up relationship. But they invite these females to hang out with them. My guy isn't inviting, but with the hoes and bitches there, I feel funny. We had our falling out about it a couple of months ago, but are working on building and correcting this in our relationship, especially our communication with each other. My guy informed them, his male friends, that I found out about what they do, and now they are worried that I'm going to say something. I don't feel it's my place to say anything because I'm not close with any of their significant others. I only see them as my guy's family, at my guy's family get-togethers. My concern is my relationship now. And am I wrong for keeping it to myself, or is it something I should share? Envy, I know you refer to Gia as the homie, and you don't mind having Gia around when you go out with the guys, but I'm totally confused because my guy expressed he would want me to go out with the guys, but he's concerned what the guys would feel about me seeing them all fucking other fucking girls on their significant others. Even during one of the guys' trips, he even wanted me to come along, and all the guys weren't with it. At this point, my guy doesn't care about what they think and said he would bring me on a trip because he doesn't care what they think. What do you think about this? Your advice and thoughts are very much valued.
I understand what he's saying about his friends, though, because if you're my man.
Correct.
And I have a bunch of friends, and my friends and they're in relationships, and they're out and they're just living their best lives, also known as hoeing, right? They're just, living it up. And I want to bring you along. And let's say they invite dudes out and, it's a whole good time. And I'm like, oh, I want to bring Rashawn when we go to X, Y, and Z. They're going to feel away because they can't be their authentic self because now they have to worry about your perception, your opinion, how you're going to look at them, how you're going to feel about me hanging out with them because they're not true blue. If I'm them, I don't want you there either. Like, leave your man at home. Let him go hang out with his friends. This is our time, or you stay your ass at home. I actually understand that. So...
No, I get it too. I mean, dudes want to go out and they want to hang out with each other. Like sometimes if I was to go out with my friends and we're going and maybe we're going to Vegas and we're partying and things like that, maybe they might feel the same way. Like, yo, E, don't bring gear because, we're going to do what we're going to do. My friends don't feel that way. And if I do, and I put myself in that situation, I remember I had to go to DR, Dominican Republic, for an event. And the hotel situation was messed up. So we wound up Airbnb in a mansion. And it was a bunch of us staying in a mansion. So one of the people I was with decided to invite females over to the mansion.
Okay. I'm like, which DR trip was this?
Right?
Yes.
And it was one of those situations I was like, I don't want nothing to do with this. So what did I do?
You locked yourself in a room and you called me. We were on the phone for like 3.5, 4 hours.
Absolutely. I locked myself in that motherfucking room.
Well, first you FaceTime me.
Yep. I
We're
wanted
on
you to know, look,
FaceTime for
I
like
showed
2
her.
hours.
The dresser was against the door. I don't know what the fuck's going on out there, and I don't want to know.
He FaceTime. He was like, look at all these hoes in the background. Look, he was telling me a story about each one. This one did this with so-and-so.
Right.
That one did that with so-and-so.
Right. But that's my wife. She's my homie. But I understand. And I remember when I woke up that morning, I woke up early. And when I woke up, I went outside to the pool and I just seen the girls leaving. Like it was just, it was crazy. But anyway, my
Sean
point
was
is,
taking pictures of them and sending them to me.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, don't blow me up. But what I was saying is, yes, in that situation, I understand why your friends would feel that way, why his friends would feel that way, because if they're out in his guy time, they might not want you around. And although you say, okay, I don't care what happens, they don't know who you are. You might get upset one day and say, fuck him, and I'm going to blow all your friends up. That's how guys think. So they don't want you involved and they don't want no part of that. So that's the reason why they don't want you there. Now, it's his option to say, hey, if I come, you know, maybe I'll stay at another hotel where these other girls aren't there if that's uncomfortable for you. But I understand why why they wouldn't want him there, why they wouldn't want her there. I get it completely, you know?
But now, if you're her, do you have a problem with your man going out with all of his single friends or his not single friends who are doing dirt, where they're inviting out a bunch of other girls?
No. And I'm going to tell you why.
You don't have a problem?
No, I'm going to tell you why I don't have a problem. Because if, let's say every year I go out with my friends to Miami, right? And when we're in Miami, we go to the race car track and we race, or we go golfing and we golf, and then we go to the club at night. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. Every year we do that together as a brotherhood. We've been doing it since college. Now, after the club, they do their own thing. But I'm not down there for after the club. I'm down there for
bro time.
Bro time.
Mm-hmm.
And after bro time, they're on their own. So I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Right. But she's not talking about, you know, the guys trip once a year. She's talking about this is a regular thing.
Well, they go out. They go out different
So let's
times.
say they go out twice a month, once a month, and they're always bringing girls around. Her very taken man. Now, if you're her, do you have an issue with it? No,
I don't. I'm going to tell you why. The same reason when...
I'm not saying should she. I'm saying...
the same reason why...
Do you understand if she does? Would you?
I wouldn't have a problem with it. The same reason why when you go out with your friends, what I always tell you, get your own room, stay in your own hotel. I don't believe in that all of us in one room. Nah, get your own shit. Even if you stay in that room, but if shit gets a little funny, you can go to your own room. Same thing with guys.
It's not about the room situation.
Why? Because if you got a bunch of bitches in your room and I'm over here with my room, that has nothing to do with me.
No. What she's concerned about is her man being around all of this negative temptation.
I'm not. We doing bro time, but when it's time to go back to the room, they go back to the room.
She's not saying that they bring girls back to the hotel and that's what she's concerned about. She's saying that they invite girls out.
Okay.
So they are in his presence, hanging out, drinking, shaking the tail feather, doing things that...
Did you say shaking your tail feather?
You were talking about Nelly recently. Made me think about it.
Okay.
So
in that situation, yes, I get it. I understand. You're right. If we just going to dinner and you bringing bitches while we going to dinner, and that's put me in a bad predicament.
Why they got to be like?
Because she said bitches. She said bitches. She said hoes and bitches as they called them in the group chat. I'm just repeating what she said. Hoes and bitches.
Okay, I'll let you rock on those grounds.
Okay. Now, if they're bringing ladies.
Okay.
That are dressing, what is it, what is it?
Scantily clad.
Those ladies. If you bring
those bitches.
But if you're bringing them around, then yes, I feel away. Absolutely. But if it's something that's outside of what we did, that's different. But if you're bringing them around and they're in my circle or in my area.
Of course, they're in your space.
Then yes, I agree.
You're going to dinner, going to STK.
Absolutely.
Music, drinks, food. You with your taken self, your friends with their taken selves, but they're not honoring it. Bitches and hoes around. I mean, scantily clad.
But yeah, I mean, I agree. And some people are like, oh, but it's bro, that's not me. But that's just how I am. I don't want to be around it. I don't want nobody to take a picture of me next to it. I just don't want it. And that same DR trip, I don't know if you remember. That same DR trip, we went to the club.
Keep going.
And I sent you a picture. I was at one booth by myself.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was in the other booth with the chicks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't want to be next
He
to
got
that.
his own table to not
I just didn't want to be next to that
it.
because all I seen was somebody take a picture and envy with the bitches and hoes. And I was like, I just didn't want to be a part of it.
Right.
But, yes, you do have a point. If they are around, I would definitely have that conversation and say, hey, that's not the relationship I signed up for. I would never disrespect you and be around dudes like that. So don't disrespect me and be around.
So you're saying that he can't go out with his friends now?
He can, but if they're going to have...
But now he has to be like the principal and be like, all right, guys, now if I'm going to hang out with you, you can't invite girls.
Yes. That's just me. That's the way I feel. I don't want to be around it. I don't want no pictures taken.
You know
around
what?
It.
The way I look at it, it's kind of like a catch-22. I don't blame him for wanting to go out with his friends and allowing his friends to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Because in his mind, he can say, I don't care about what they do. I'm walking a straight line and you have to be able to trust me. There's reason to that. There's a certain kind of logic to that. But she would really have to trust him to not mind that. But on her side, it's reasonable that she wouldn't want her man perpetually around temptation. So they both have a point. So which way does the scale tip?
The scale tips on which way it makes her feel uncomfortable. Because if she's feeling uncomfortable,
that's a good
and that's
answer.
your woman and that's your lady, you want her to feel
She's
as
a
comfortable
priority.
as possible. Absolutely. So if that's the case, you want your wife, your girl, your lady to feel comfortable.
And I think at the end of the day, it boils down to whether she actually believes that he wants her there.
Correct.
Or that he would like to have her there or wouldn't mind her being there. If she believes that, then that kind of tells you a lot about your man and it kind of tells you a lot about your relationship. So would you, if you're her, do you allow him to continue doing it though?
If you're her.
If you believe in him, if you trust him.
I mean, it has to be one of those things. If it's that situation, we just got to stop. We just can't do that anymore. And
you limit it, maybe.
I mean,
let's not like a rule, but
right.
Don't abuse the
absolutely.
privilege. It makes me feel uncomfortable, but I understand you want to hang out with your friends. So, I don't want you going out every other weekend, but if you want to go out once a month or whatever, I understand that. See, I lean more in that direction.
Correct.
And I don't know if it's the right answer, to be honest. I think it's the most logical answer. And I'm not a jealous person.
Right.
So for me, it's like, go out, do what you do. And if this thing that we have is right, then everything will be right with it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I'm like cool and I'm laid back like that. I don't know if that's the best advice though. I still kind of think that maybe she should just say, all right, every once in a while, okay, but don't abuse the privilege.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well,
no more emails?
You know what? Before we get out of here, I know we have a little bit of time. I wanted to ask you. Let's go to another email.
What'd you want to ask me?
No, it was something. It was something about I wanted to talk to you about, but we don't have to talk about it here. It was just schooling, but with the kids. I don't want to talk about that.
Let's go to an email.
Goodness gracious. I don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, here we go. Dear Envy and Gear, I'm a huge fan of your podcast and love your relationship with each other and your family. I write it because I need advice about how to handle my boyfriend's relationship with his ex-wife. Oh. We are in our early 40s and we dated in high school and reconnected a little over a year ago on Facebook. I was in an unhealthy marriage for almost 15 years and this new relationship is amazing. My boyfriend is thoughtful, caring, and always trying to find new ways to make me happy. He took me to Paris for our first date. Wow. I know he loves me, but he talks to his ex-wife frequently and has even called me by her name at least 4 times. They were married for 10 years, but do not have any children. They have been divorced about 3 years. She owns a business, and he told me that their relationship broke down because she continued to put the business over the relationship and did not spend any time together. Mm-hmm. He said he didn't want to get divorced, but she was unwilling to put the time into the marriage. After he filed for divorce, and even after they were divorced, he said he was still trying to work things out with her. After they were divorced, they still traveled together, attended events together, etc. She now lives in another country and she uses his address for tax filings and has flown to the state to visit him. Her featured photo on the Facebook page are pictures of them together from several years ago. We have had numerous conversations about the relationship with his ex, but nothing gets resolved. He says they are just friends and he loves me. He says he still cares about her, but doesn't want to be with her and also wants to see her business do well. Her business has been very successful in the last few years. He says he wants to get married and move in together. We currently live about 6 hours away from each other, but I'm concerned because my gut tells me that he still has some unresolved feelings for her. What do you think? How would you feel if your spouse had this relationship with his ex-wife? Please keep me anonymous. Thank you in advance.
Keep her who?
Anonymous.
Unanimous.
You know what I mean? Thank you in advance for the advice.
You know what that kind of reminds me of?
What?
The Madam C.J. Walker story.
Oh, yeah. A little different, but yeah. I
Well,
get what you're saying.
it reminds me of that. If you guys didn't see that, that's a good, what was it? 4 episodes, 6 episodes?
Yep.
Something, series for you guys to watch. In that movie, which is obviously based on a true story, Madam C.J. Walker had an idea for a business. It was hair care. And she was like a dog with a bone. She took that idea. She did everything in her power to make sure that it was successful. She worked like a dog. She put everything that she had into it. She took risks, but that was her baby. And she ate, slept, and breathed this hair care line. And if you know the story, it eventually made her a millionaire. She was the first
woman millionaire.
Female millionaire in this country, if I'm not mistaken.
She was, yep.
Okay.
Black, white, everything. She was the first
female millionaire in this country. But it came with a cost. Her husband felt neglected, but he also felt jealous, very jealous of her business. And email her, I'm not saying that you're jealous. I'm just saying that when you have a very driven partner, male or female, if it's a female, there can be more complications because in that situation, she was the breadwinner,
right?
And it emasculated him. So it's not really easy. It's not really, easy. But whether you're the male or the female, it's a very difficult situation to be in because you feel as though you're playing second fiddle to something that isn't living and breathing, and it can really cause problems.
Yeah, with this. I would say she has every right to feel disrespected.
She?
Yeah.
He?
She?
He?
No, she. What do you mean he?
Isn't the emailer he?
No, the emailer is a she. She is mad that he is talking to his ex-wife.
Oh, she is mad that he's talking. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think she feels every right to be disrespected. I mean, there is no way that that's your ex-wife and we're talking about possibly moving in with each other, taking it to the next level. And she's constantly flying, seeing you.
Did he say that? She's flying to see him? Yeah,
that's what she said. She said she flew a couple times to see him. She still uses his address for business things.
Uses the address for tax reasons or something, right?
She flies in and visits him.
Flying in and visiting him.
But not only that, he told her, like, I tried to make it work after we got divorced. You can tell she still has his pictures on her Facebook. She still has feelings. And if he's still in contact with them like this, there's still something there.
Okay.
Right? Now,
I think that there's a certain something there between them.
Yeah, absolutely. But now it's like...
He said that he didn't want to leave the relationship. He said he left because...
Right. He felt like he had to.
He felt like he had to.
But even when he did, he still tried to make things work and they couldn't. And they're still best of friends. And that's fine. Me personally...
Is that fine?
Yes, I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because some people can be friends. Like, they can be friends and just not friends on that level. Like,
they were married for 10 years.
But like, for instance, what's the girl from New Jersey Housewives?
There's a bunch of them.
The one that the husband is cool with her new boyfriend.
Oh, Dolores Catania.
Dolores, right? They have a relationship where they can be cool. They go out and they actually helped. Her ex-husband built her new boyfriend's house.
Right.
Right? That is something that me personally, I can't do. But there are some people that say, hey, the relationship is over. The attraction is over, but we're still friends. Like, I've known you since I was 16. Like, you are my best friend. But
I would feel that way about you.
Correct. But now, if you had a new boyfriend or new husband, your new husband might be like, you know what? I don't like the way that you talk to him all the time. Like, y'all two together all the time. It might make him feel away. And as me, I would have to respect that. Or the same thing with me. Let's say I got a new girl, and me and you known each other. We've known since 15.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh my God, she's so pretty.
Right, but she might be like, you know what? I don't like you talking to her so much. I don't like the fact that you go visit her and check up on her. And you have to understand that. You know, people don't know how people are in their relationships. So if she feels that way, yes, I get it and I understand, because I would feel the same way. There's no way in hell that if I have a girlfriend and she's still talking to her ex, he's still visiting, and they still having conversations, I would feel away. Call me insecure, yes. Call me petty, yes. I just don't want to be a part of
But
that.
I do think that there's something to be said for leaving the past in the past.
Right.
You know, like you leave the past in the past.
But it works in certain situations. Like Dolores, it works. It works with them. They are all cool.
It all boils down to how your partner feels about it.
Correct.
So if your partner's okay with it, that's one thing.
Right.
But if your partner's not okay with it, then you left that situation for a reason.
Correct.
That's your past. I'm your present. Are you working to fulfill your past? Or are you working to fulfill your present?
Right.
You have to make that decision.
So what do you advise this?
What's her question? How did
she wants
she
to
end
know
it?
what did she think? Her question is, what would you think? How would you feel if your spouse had this kind of relationship with their ex? Me and Gia are different. I would feel away. Nah, there's no way you can be into me and still calling that next bitch. I'm not calling her a bitch, but that's how I would feel. It's either me or them. There's no kids keeping y'all together. What?
You and I are different.
Right. You would be cool with the relationship. I wouldn't be cool with that relationship. You don't need to speak to your ex. Not like that. If it's about the business, yes. If it's about the taxes because you're using the address, yes. But all that other stuff, calling, visiting you, or y'all doing things together, no. Take your picture off her Facebook page. Tell her to take that picture off. Right. Y'all not together. That's how I would feel.
So the ex is looking at it like, that's still my property. Yeah. You have like these little girlfriends or this one girlfriend or whatever, but you're my ex-husband. She probably still feels a little bit of a claim to him because he hasn't like moved on into another marriage yet. But she's wilding for still having his picture as her Facebook.
So what do you advise this woman? What do you say? Because I'm saying I'm petty. It can't happen. You got to check him immediately. I don't like this. And if it doesn't change, I have to back myself up. You know why
it's a problem? And it gets a little complicated. And I'm looking at it from his perspective. It's because they didn't end their marriage on a bad accord.
Correct.
Okay. So we're not married, but I still really like this person. I really still have a great respect for this person. I actually enjoy this person, enjoy talking to this person. Listen, I have no problem with her using my address to get a tax break or, whatever. If I can help her, I'll help her, but I have no romantic feelings towards her. So as his potential spouse or his girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, it's up to her whether she believes that or not. Do you see what I mean?
Absolutely.
If you don't believe it, if you believe that there's still something there, then you don't allow it. But if you believe that you're with the type of person that could still carry on a friendship with someone that they had a past with, then you might be okay with it. Most people would not be okay with it.
Right.
And I understand that. But I'm not going to lie. I understand because it's like you and I. Let's say we broke up for a reason that didn't involve any animosity or anything. Let's just say, I don't know, the easiest example I can come up with is that we grew apart. We've been together too long.
Correct.
And we're becoming bored with one another or something like that. But you're still the person in the world that I trust with my life and with my deepest, darkest secrets. And you're still the person that's known me the longest, aside from my family. So you relate to me the most. You understand me. And we just have a connection. And I mean, they didn't have any children together, so I'll leave the fact that we have kids out of it. But I could really be your friend, but is it realistic that if we were married that I would have no attraction towards you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That doesn't seem right.
I don't know if that's
But
really
that's
realistic.
but that's my whole thing. That's
I
what
have
I'm
to
saying.
walk
She has
through it
nip
in my
the bud.
mind.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't just spit out
has to
answers. I
nip that
really
in the
have to
bud.
think about it.
You're right.
Even if I moved on with somebody else, if I'm around you, but I not want that old thing back, even if not just for a night.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's, I think, always going to be a chemistry between us, regardless of what either of us have moved on to.
Mm-hmm.
But is it fair to tell somebody, like, no, you can't talk to that person anymore? And you know what it is? I guess in a different set of circumstances, I might have a completely different opinion, but she's not painting him to be any kind of jerk.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? He just seems like a nice guy who has a good relationship with his ex, who broke up with her because she put the business first, but he's still proud of her for being successful and he still will help her out and whatnot. And to me, that just sounds like a nice guy. But if I'm her, you know, it's like with these emails, it's always like just the his and her perspective. It's not really the right or the wrong.
Right.
So at the end of the day, she's his present, she's his future. So I think he needs to put all of his eggs in that basket and wean off of the ex. That's my ultimate opinion.
And I agree with you too. I think he needs to wean off that ex. And I think it's going to be do nothing but cause problem because obviously you don't like it. You told him you don't like it. And now he has to react. And if he doesn't react, then you have to start backing up because he's not respecting what you think and how you feel. All right.
I agree.
All right. Well, it's time to get up out of here. I got to go do radio. And for some reason, it's cold as a mother in here.
It is kind of cold. Well, the last, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, we were wearing robes. So I guess we didn't really realize how cold it is in here. But yeah, it is a little chilly right now.
All right. Well, we'll see you.
No, I don't like.
We'll see you guys next week. I'm DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And that was another edition of the KC Crew.
Toodles.
Toodles.